Education, one of the most important parts of growing up. Without a proper education, some people might find it difficult to be successful later in life. Hello and welcome to SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Des Loreen. On today's show, we'll take a look at a program being offered in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, where students are being taught with a different approach. We'll speak with some of the instructors of the program and find out how they accommodate these students and their alternative needs.
Okay, I've got to I'll get that other part for you.
My name is Cameron Brown. I am the teacher of the New Beginnings alternate school here in Inuvik, which is part of Salmon Hearn Secondary School. I'm starting my fourth year with New Beginnings. I have been an alternate teacher for about 15, 16 years in different parts of the country and many different small reserves to different communities, but always working with children who are at risk.
And you're going to come in, and this is a thing here, so you're going to have to be down from here. And let's just maybe close the door. So I want you to come in from this angle here, and we should be able to get it. So can we? And we should be able to come in, and it should just start cutting into there and break that weld off.
New Beginnings alternate program is a placement or a school for students who are at risk for a variety of reasons. These students in a regular classroom would not be meeting success. They were the ones that would be in a lot of trouble. They wouldn't be happy for many occasions. They would be having trouble getting their work done. They would have trouble with attendance, keeping up with the load, behavioral problems. Many of the behavioral problems that the students are seeking status among their peers and doing it in a negative way instead of a positive way, because we're all trying to have some status and reputation among our peers. The program is being held currently in the old auto shop at Salmon Hearn Secondary School. We do not know how long we'll be here, so we could be looking for another place in the next year or so. But this is, very good at the moment because it does allow us access to bring our snowmobiles in to be worked on, and some other vehicles that they can work on. They've done oil changes for teachers and done a few minor things with vehicles, such as changing fuel pumps, and wherever they can do something to be successful at, we're willing to take a try at that.
I'm Marina Kalinek from Inuvik, and my position is youth care worker. I've been here for 6 years. Okay, my responsibility here is doing one-to-one with the students if I knew they're having a hard time. And then I do planning for the bush and meals, like Christmas suppers. We try to have Christmas suppers for the students before the Christmas break. And there's so much stuff that I do here, try to help any way I can with the students.
We do not look at it as an academic courses. What we do is we focus on upgrading. Many of the students are in a situation where they've missed lots of school. Some have not gone to school for years. Some have, when they've been in schools, they've been suspended, not turning up and have fallen behind. So we work on an upgrading program, and we work with each student individually. What we do is we do a series of tests to find out what they can do, not what they should be able to do at their age, but what they can do, and we work from where they are so they can encounter success. If the work is too easy, students become bored and disenchanted with it. If it becomes too hard, it's just frustrating for them and they won't apply themselves. So we want to find the right spot for each student so they're working at their own level for their own personal improvement.
The 7th to the 10th, we'll go in the bush for the week.
We try to do a lot of activities that will increase their self-esteem, their self-image, give them an encounter of success. We try to go out on the land. To go out on the land, we need to have snowmobiles running. They spend a lot of time working on snowmobiles. This is very important for them. It lets them get some expertise in an area. It helps them to accomplish things from what they learn in working a snowmobile. They can apply it to their academic courses. It's the idea that here you can succeed at something, do something positive. If you're out in the land, if a snowmobile breaks down, it's a snowmobile you've been working on, you probably know what's wrong with it and how to repair it. And I've had students repair snowmobiles out in the land in 30 below weather and have them up and going. We try to get out and look at a lot of the traditional activities, the hunting, fishing, berry picking, trapping, and we want to do more of that. Yeah, I'm very proud of the students. The last 2 years they have been involved in the Great Northern Circus, and this was where they've gone down to Jim Cohey Park and put on a performance for the citizens of Inuvik and the SAM school students. And many times there have been over 200 people there viewing it, and they've done circus performing acts, and they've been very successful with this. And CBC came up and filmed part of this for the Wayne Rodstead show On the Road Again, and it was put on television this last year, and I think it was a very good recognition of some of the things that these students have been able to accomplish with support.
I'm David Reed, and I'm the principal of Sam Ahern Secondary School. This is my 22nd year here at the school, and we've gone through some different changes, I guess, before we had the alternate program as it exists now. We ran programs such as the COP and the SPP programs years and years ago. But in the last, I guess 5 to 7 years, we've identified this type of program to run, which is now the alternate school. And we're in our 3rd instructor in the program. But Mr. Brown has been here the longest since in that position.
Stay tuned after the break for more of SUAANGAN, Our Strength, right here on APTN. Welcome back to SUAANGAN, Our Strength, right here on APTN.
I'm Nick Cole, and I'm 14. I've been in the alternate program for 2 years. They're definitely doing a good job with the students, and they're helping us learn a lot about the land, mechanics.
Well, it's going to be up to you students. Think about it, and you tell me next week, or yeah. It's like counseling. It's like if they do have a problem at home, or the things that they're facing and they can't overcome it, and they talk with me and get it out so they can function better in doing their work.
In the mornings we do our times tables. We have a 10-minute break, then we do our math. We do our challengers. Go for a break. Come back and we do some more challengers or math. We go for lunch at 11:30. Come back. 1:05 we do our reading. And after half an hour reading, we do our math, do our challengers, then we go in the back, do some work on the skidoos or truck.
Yeah, you probably could take some. If you need the stuff, if your mom's gonna cook it, we'll give it to her. And
well, my mom can make donuts.
okay.
And I can make macaroni salad.
Yeah, that's good.
My name is Brittany Bernhardt and I'm 13 years old. This is my first year. I've been here only 1 year. The teachers are good to me and I get along with them very well.
It originally started with the Justice Committee, Department of Justice, coming to a group of people in the community that identified a need for students that weren't fitting in well in the regular school setting, that were having problems in the justice system, that were going before the courts and whatnot. And so it was decided to run something that was alternate for them, that would keep them in school, teach them some skills, life skills, and improve academic areas for them, offer them some on-the-land training activities, and just to kind of keep them off the street in school, hoping that they would eventually feel good enough about themselves to be able to come back into the regular school setting and be successful.
Some of the snowmobiles had been with the program when I first came. When I first came, there were none of the snowmobiles running. There has been donations from the community, from snowmobiles and snowmobile parks. Now, we don't have a great source of funding for parts and stuff. For the parts for our snowmobiles, we've been using our on-the-land money for that. And it's very difficult when we have $6,000 a year to run the program. When you look at renting a snowmobile, it can be $130 a day, and if you went out with 4 snowmobiles for 4 days, that would take a large hunk out of our budget. So what we've been trying to do is take some of the money and buy parts to fix these snowmobiles up. We've got 3 running right now, and we're just waiting for parts to come in for 2 more, and we'll have 5 snowmobiles on the snow. And hopefully that will be within the next couple of weeks. And these snowmobiles have had, nothing in them, been stripped right down to nothing. They've rebuilt them from the motors to adding the electrical and all the wiring back in, and done suspensions on them. So they've learned quite a bit, and I'm very proud of what they have accomplished.
If they get this done, I'll be running in 15 minutes, 5 minutes maybe even. Then it's out the door with it.
Yeah.
Use use a vise.
And we work on the screws. If we do something wrong, Mr. Brown is there to correct us. He's always there to help us with the screws or our truck. He volunteers us to work on the trucks and the screws. If somebody has a broken down screw or something wrong with carburetors or pistons, he asks them to bring it over. They buy the parts, we put the screw back together, or the truck.
Well, in the regular curriculum, they're following a curriculum, and they're following it for a vast amount of students. We're dealing with a small segment of students that are not being successful, and we're working on their needs, and we're working on their immediate needs, and hopefully with the changes we make now that will have long-term results. Perhaps we may not see these things until 10 years down the road. Some students will integrate back into the high school. We currently have 9 students who have been in the alternate program since I've been here who are registered in the high school. Some students will not go back to school and will stay out of school, and hopefully the strong basis we've worked on will give them a good stepping stone when they return perhaps to adult education at Aurora College or something else. And hopefully we're just also working with some of the issues they have in life and offering them a little bit of support. Well, it's needed because there's many students at risk who are not encountering success in the regular school, and that's again for a variety of reasons. And we can work on a very few number of students compared to the population of the high school, and work on their needs and hopefully get them reintegrated back into high school. If not for these students, there is no other choice. They're out of the school, and they will not be getting education, and then without the basics, there's less chance of them reintegrating back into high school at a later date, or returning to school at another venue such as Aurora College, or doing some trades upgrading.
Well, in the New Beginnings program, they have a different focus. It's not entirely about academics. They do upgrading in language arts and math, life skill programs. They don't start at the same time. They're a little bit more flexible. It's a different atmosphere. It's a smaller group of students. They're not with 15, 20, 30 students in one class. There's a very small number. They have supports from the Justice Committee with a justice worker there. Try to do a lot of on-the-land activities to instill some culture and pride. Hopefully that'll make them more successful in school and make them a more rounded student.
I'm peeling tape off the side of the door.
I don't know if I would change it, because it would be like starting all over. But the way it's running, it's like we probably need more funding for the land skills and stuff like that. And I think we mostly have trouble with funding.
And we'll be right back with more of SUAANGAN right here on APTN. Welcome back to SUAANGAN, Our Strength, right here on APTN.
Well, I think probably what we're in a position of changing the program. We are changing the program. I think one of the things that I've strived for and always wanted since I've come here was to be out in the land more with the students. We are working towards that with the, developing the cabin. It'd be nice to have, the bureaucracy move a little faster to get the lease arranged. Also to have funding so that we'd have a little bit more access for parts, to even have some extra parts that we could keep for the snowmobiles. Many times we wait months for parts to come in before we can get a snowmobile going. And right now we'd like to be out fishing this week, but we're just right now have got our third snowmobile going, and hopefully we'll be able to take enough students out to do that. But we've been waiting for parts, for months for the other two, and hopefully that we've reordered again and they'll be in a short period of time.
I think one of the aspects of New Beginnings that I'd like to see happen would be a larger on-the-land component. Part of the problems with some of the students that are there is that things are happening in their personal life that prevent them from being more successful than they are, through no fault of their own sometimes. If we had a larger on-the-land component with a building on the land where they could actually go out and stay for a week or two at a time, do activities and schooling out there, it might break them of a cycle that they sometimes get into when they're in town with all the negative influences from peers, family, and whatnot that, are pulling at them to do what they normally, if they had the opportunity not to do, they wouldn't. But peer pressure is so strong in some of these students that it's difficult for them not to get caught up in the whole cycle. It's a valuable program. I mean, some people don't see the program the same way we do. It's not a regular school class. It's everything about it is different. The students have different needs than the majority of the students in the school. For the most part, a lot of them are years behind grade level in their math and language arts skills. They have a lot of special personal needs that in a regular classroom setting, you just can't address those needs. Some of them are so overwhelming that it takes a special person like Mr. Brown and Rini Clinic to work with the students one-on-one more and try and help them along, boost their self-confidence, boost how they feel about themselves through on-the-land activities, just to get them to a point where they're ready to come back to the school here and continue on. And that does happen. It sometimes it takes 3 or more years for some of the students to come into New Beginnings, stay there for a while, have Mr. Brown work with them and help improve things, and then they're ready to come back into school. And sometimes they're not. That's but it's a different type of student. It's a different type of approach in dealing with the students. One that, because of the vast numbers of students we have in the school, it's hard for us to work that way. So it's worth its weight in gold, to be honest with you.
Everything. I like working with the youth. It's like taking them out to the land. That's my best part, is because I teach them what I know, pass it on to them. Most have succeeded, like starting a fire, getting up on time, when to see their snares and what's have to be done for the day, and then in the evenings they have free times. And that's our tradition. Long time ago, that's how it was.
Well, I think that the best part of my job is it's I guess a feeling of myself. When I look back, and it's the students that I've made a difference with, or the programs have made a difference with, and that we've done something positive that would not have happened otherwise. Many times I've seen students who've come up and we're so proud that that they're reading that they could not read before. When I was on my holidays this summer, a student came up, an ex-student, and was so proud that I'm reading the paper every day. and it was a student who could not read at all when we started. And knowing that there is going to be a difference. Many of these students did not end up in this position overnight, and I know that it's not going to be a very quick or fast solution to the problem, but over time that they'll be able to look back and think, okay, here was a program that met my needs, and I succeeded in that program. And knowing that I was part of a program like that makes me feel good, because you know, there were people who supported me throughout my life, and I feel good about that. I didn't go into teaching at a young age. I didn't start teaching until I was 35, and had done a lot of other things and worked a lot of construction. Saw many students or fellow workers who didn't have an education and who were struggling. And it was just realizing if you made a difference with some of these ones with the basics, instead of being a carpenter's helper with the basic math, they could upgrade and become a carpenter. And it was very frustrating when you saw people who were just great, intelligent, had lots of things going, but they had problems in high school and dropped out and just about dropped out of society. And it was, I just saw too many of them, and when it was time to do something, I decided when I was going to teach that I would rather teach with people who came with a similar background that I had, and maybe be able to make a positive change with them.
You know, I have to, you know, compliment Mr. Brown. He's very, very patient, you know, and you need that patience and that understanding to work with some of the students that he has to work with on a daily basis. So I give him all the credit that he, you know, that he deserves. It's something that, without it, I don't know what would happen with some of the students. You know, they would be here for as long as they could be here, you know, and then if things come up, you know, discipline issues and things like that, then they'd go through the natural course and progress of the system, and would find themselves, you know, suspended, sometimes repeatedly, and that doesn't help them, and it certainly doesn't help us. Our goal is to make sure the kids are successful. So this is an alternative for them to be successful, to experience success, get some self-esteem, learn some activities, some social skills, increase their math and language skills, and one day be successful and contribute to society.
That was our program for this week. Thank you for watching SUAANGAN. I'm your host, Des Lorraine. Be sure to tune in next week for more programming from Canada's Western Arctic. Let's go see what JoJo's up to. Hey, there's JoJo. What's happening, man?
Call it, man. Right on. That's good job. You
Well,
know
thank
he's
you.
a rat, but he does good, you know.
Quit calling me that. Stop calling me that. Jeez.
Right on. Perfect. Tell him who you are.
Tell
him who we are, man. We got big rock singers. We got gold. $10,000 a show. Oh, we sing about beauty and we sing about love.
Come on, Joe. That's good, that's good.